Good morning, everyone. This is the Committee on Rules, Monday, April 25th, 2022. I understand that the state law currently requires that the following announcement be made at the beginning of every remote public hearing as follows. Due to the current public health emergency, City Council committees are currently meeting remotely. We are using Microsoft Teams to make these remote hearings possible. Instructions for how the public may view and offer public testimony at public hearings of council committees are included in the public hearing notices that are published in the Daily News, Enquirer, and Legal Intelligencer prior to the hearings and can also be found on phlcouncil.com. Will the clerk please call the roll to take attendance? Members that are in attendance will please indicate they are present when their names are called. Also, please say a few brief words when responding so that your image will be displayed on screen when you speak.
Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and colleagues. I am present and looking forward to today's hearing. Good morning.
Councilmember Maria Quinones Sanchez. Councilmember Brian O'Neill.
Good morning, everyone.
Councilmember Mark Squilla.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and colleagues. Present.
Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I am present.
And Councilmember Curtis Jones Jr.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, colleagues in Philadelphia.
And that is it for the attendance, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, everyone, for your presence. A quorum of the committee is present, and this hearing is now called to order. This is the public hearing of the Committee on Rules regarding bills number 210933, 220112, 220113, 220224, and 220298. Will the clerk please read the titles of the bills?
Bill number 210933, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Snyder Avenue, Weccacoe Avenue, Wolf Street, and Swanson Street. Bill number 220112, adopting an amendment to the Articles of Incorporation of the Manayunk Special Services District of Philadelphia to extend the term of that authority all under certain terms and conditions. Bill number 220113, approving a new plan, estimated cost, and proposed method of assessment of the Manayunk Special Services District for and concerning business improvements and administrative services to the Manayunk Business District of the City of Philadelphia. Bill number 220224, an ordinance to approve amendments to the Drexel University Master Plan in the area bounded by 34th Street, Cherry Street, 33rd Street, and Palatine Avenue, related to the Kelly Hall Building at 203 North 34th Street. And Bill number 220298, an ordinance to approve amendments to the Jefferson Torresdale Hospital Master Plan related to the new Proton Therapy Center building at 10800 Knights Road.
Before we begin to hear testimony from the witnesses we have for today, everyone who has been invited to the meeting to testify should be aware that this public hearing is being recorded. Because the hearing is public, participants and viewers have no reasonable expectation of privacy. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. Additionally, prior to recognizing members for the questions or comments they have for witnesses, I will note for the record at this time that we will use the chat feature available in Microsoft Teams to allow members to signify that they wish to be recognized. In order to comply with the Sunshine Act, the chat feature must only be used for this purpose. Will the clerk please call the panel for bill number 210933?
For our first bill, we have Paula Brumblo-Burns.
Good morning, members of the Rules Committee. I am Paula Brumblo-Burns, Director of Legislation for the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I am here to testify on bill number 210933, which was introduced into City Council on November 18, 2021 by Councilmember Squilla. Bill number 210933 amends the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning of lands within an area bounded by Snyder, Weccacoe Avenues, Wolf, and Swanson Streets. This bill will change the zoning of 6 acres of land located at 16 East Snyder Avenue, from I2 medium and industrial to ICMX industrial commercially mixed use to facilitate the redevelopment of the site, which will feature primarily auto-oriented retail uses. The South District Plan recommended no change to the property, which was then in active industrial use. The Commission recognized that surrounding properties were remapped in 2013 to ICMX or commercial auto-oriented zoning districts. The Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill number 210933 at its meeting of December 9th, 2021 and recommended for approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Are there any questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the next panel for the next bill?
For bill number 220112, we have Dennis Murphy and Gwen McCauley. They will also be commenting on bill 220113, so if they're speaking at the same time, that might happen, Mr. Chair.
Sure. Just state your name for the record and please begin.
Morning, Chairman Johnson. My name is Dennis Murphy from the Commerce Department. I'm here to testify in support of both bills, Bill 220112 and 220113. These bills will extend the term of the Manayunk Special Services District as a municipal authority and approve their plan for services, including the method of assessing property owners within their boundaries. In 1996, property owners and business people in Manayunk came together to create a business improvement district. The MSSD uses assessment funds to provide services such as sidewalk litter removal, capital improvements, and beautification. The MSSD works closely with the Manayunk Development Corporation, who market the area and organize special events. The MSSD and the MDC have played a critical role in maintaining and building partnerships with the city and others to help Manayunk adapt and thrive. Most recently, the MSSD was a critical advocate for businesses and property owners navigating the impacts of flooding from Hurricane Ida and the impact of the pandemic. Commerce works closely with the MSSD by assisting businesses within their district and recently provided funding for improved pedestrian lighting and crosswalks along Main Street. The BID's proposed plan continues important activities that are critical to maintain Manayunk's status as a shopping and dining destination for the whole region. BIDs are one of the best examples of collaboration between the city and our commercial areas. This worthwhile effort deserves our support. Thank you for your consideration, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Please call the next.
McCauley?
Yes, I'm right here. Thank you, Dennis, and the Commerce Department. Good morning, council members, and thank you for your time today. My name is Gwen McCauley, and I serve as the Executive Director for Manayunk Development Corporation. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Manayunk Special Services District. The MSSD was established in 1997 under the Municipal Authorities Act of 1945 and reauthorized in 2012 for a 10-year period. Today, I ask Philadelphia City Council to reauthorize our Business Improvement District for another 10-year period for the period 2023 through 2032. From its beginning, the MSSD mission has been to create a clean, attractive, safe, and well-managed business district so that Manayunk can successfully compete in as an environment to live, work, shop, dine, and visit. Through the establishment and continuation of our bid, Manayunk has flourished with a reputation as a thriving neighborhood for commercial businesses, residents, and recreational activities. By partnering with the Manayunk Development Corporation, local property owners, community stakeholders, and the City of Philadelphia, the MSSD has initiated a wide range of capital improvement projects to beautify the neighborhood and employed a maintenance crew to oversee the sidewalk cleaning, covering up graffiti, and general maintenance of public service areas. As we look ahead at the next 10 years, it's imperative that the MSSD is approved by City Council to reauthorize and to continue its crucial work of keeping Manayunk's commercial corridor clean, well-lit, attractive, and safe. Our neighborhood has endured a number of hardships resulting from COVID-19 pandemic and suffered and the unprecedented flooding from Hurricane Ida. Small businesses in our district have suffered a rise in inflation, employee and supply chain shortages, and a number have been forced to close their doors and never reopen. By extending the authorization of the Manayunk Special Services District, the MSSD, in conjunction with NDC, we will continue to create a clean, vibrant, and welcoming community in Manayunk to attract future residents and small businesses. Not included in my above summary, but worth mentioning, is that we have gone under an extensive process of surveying and informing and notifying stakeholders about this bid renewal and their right to objection. And I think that it's important to mention that although we have received some great suggestions from the stakeholders, we know of no objection from the stakeholders for the bid renewal. So I thank you for your time and your consideration, and I'm open to answer any questions you may have about the operations of our Business Improvement District. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councilman Curtis Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've often said that if South Street and Chestnut Hill had a baby, it would be Manayunk and Main Street. What they don't have, however, is the water and the consistent support of the business associations, respectively. During that pandemic, we walked up and down that corridor, and businesses fought through that pandemic, creating a template on what outdoor eateries should be. That was used by L&I to set the bar for other commercial corridors throughout the city of Philadelphia. Throughout the uprising that happened post-George Floyd, it was the Development Corporation that worked with law enforcement that prepared and spared Main Street from some of the looting that went on in other places. I just want to say that these kinds of associations and partnerships created, in partnership, creates a small town in a big city environment. All you have to do is come to the tree lighting and hear Senator Vincent Hughes sing carols, and you get a warm, fuzzy feeling. So I want to thank the businesses there and thank, like was stated, Mad River had to close. They couldn't stand another biblical level tragedy. But through the cooperation and partnerships, we were able to keep the vast majority of business not only open but thriving. So I just want to go on the record, Mr. Chairman, of thanking them. And if I had 10 more of those business associations throughout the city, we'd be in a lot better space by way of our vacancies on commercial corridors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. Any other questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the next bill?
For bill number 220224, we have Paula Brumlow-Burns.
I am Paula Brumlow-Burns, Director of Legislation for the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I am here to testify on bill number 220224, which was introduced into City Council on March 9, 2022 by Councilmember Gautier. Bill number 220224 amends the master plan for Drexel University for improvements to the existing Kelly Hall that is located at 203 North 34th Street. This bill allows for the plan to be amended by adding in 3,990 square feet of floor area within the master plan area. The Drexel University master plan will remain in compliance with the zoning code. The building addition will create space for a new entrance, mail lounge, and study facilities to the residence hall that was opened in 1967. The Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill number 220224 at its meeting of March 17, 2022, and recommended for approval. I will be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the next bill?
For bill number 220298, we have Paula Brumlow Burns.
I am Paula Brumlow Burns, Director of Legislation for the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I am here to testify on bill number 220298, which was introduced into City Council on March 31st, 2022 by Councilmember O'Neill. Bill number 220298 amends the master plan for the Thomas Jefferson Hospital Torresdale campus located 10800 Knights Road in Northeast Philadelphia. The amendment will allow for the construction of a two-story, approximately 42,645 square foot building near the corner of Red Lion and Knights Road for use as a new proton therapy center. Proton therapy is a new cancer treatment using advanced radiation technology that drastically reduces radiation doses to normal tissues. There are only about 50 proton therapy centers of this kind in the country, and this site was chosen over 7 other locations. The center will treat about 680 patients a year, and because this is an existing hospital facility, there is ample existing parking for patients and staff. The project is expected to have a 30-month construction timeline, and efforts will be taken to reduce any impacts on the local neighbors. The master plan itself complies with all regulations set forth in the zoning code. The Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered bill number 22098 at its meeting of April 21st, 2022, and recommended approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, is there anyone else whose name has not been called to testify on any of these bills put forth here today? If hearing none, this concludes the hearing. We will now go into a public meeting. I want to thank all the panel witnesses for their participation today. We value your input. I now invite all panel witnesses to please disconnect from the meeting before we go into our public meeting. We will now pause for the proceedings briefly as participants leave the hearing. This concludes the public hearing of the committee. We will now go into a public meeting to consider the action to be taken on the bills before this committee today. Will the clerk please call the roll to take attendance? Members that are in attendance will please indicate they are present when their names are called. Also, please say a few brief words when responding so that your image will be displayed on screen when you speak.
Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Good morning. I'm still present.
Councilmember Maria Quinones Sanchez. Councilmember Brian O'Neill.
Present.
Councilmember Mark Squilla.
Present.
Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I am present.
And Councilmember Curtis Jones Jr.
I'm present.
Thank you, everyone. We will now go into our public meeting. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on the amendment to bill number 210933.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer an amendment to bill number 210933. A copy of the amendment is circulated to all members of the committee, and I move that that amendment to bill number 210933 be approved.
Second.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman Curtis Jones seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 210933 be approved. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye, aye.
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 Opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries, and the amendment to bill number 210933 has been approved. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 210933 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 210933 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman Brian O'Neill seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 210933 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 220112.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 220112 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilwoman Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 220112 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 220113.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 220113 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman Curtis Jones seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 220113 be reported from this committee with the favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on the amendment to bill number 220224.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer an amendment to bill number 220224. A copy of the amendment is circulated to all members of the committee, and I move that the amendment to bill number 220224 be approved.
Second.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman Brian O'Neill seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 220224 be approved. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries, and the amendment to bill number 220224 has been approved. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 220224 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the bill number 220224 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 220224 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on the amendment to bill number 220298.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer an amendment to bill number 220298. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of the committee, and I move that the amendment to bill number 220298 be approved.
Second.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman Curtis Jones seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 220298 be approved. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries, and the amendment to bill number 220298 has been approved. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on the bill number 220298 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 220298 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman
Second.
Brian O'Neill seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 220298 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye, aye.
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 The ayes have it, and the motion passed. No nays. This concludes the meeting. If there are no additional remarks, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their very, very busy schedule and participating in this morning rules hearing. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.